Hi, my name is Sandra Morgan, and today I will be presenting information on language and literacy development to fellow educators. This includes definitions, examples, literacy developments, the importance of understanding the 5 components of linguistics and supporting students with exceptionalities, and 2 to 3 developmental appropriate research-based instructional strategies to support the language and literacy development of early childhood who struggle with linguistic components. For this webinar, you may need a pen, pencil, and paper to take notes. There are 5 important components of the study of language known as linguistics. To get started, I will begin with phonology. Phonology is defined as the study of speech and sounds of a language. For example, knowing and identify words that rhyme. For example, hats. We have hats, and we have bats. So we have hats and bats. Notice that these 2 words have the same sound, and the sound is coming from the middle, which is the short A sound found here. So we have at, and we have at. The short A sound is in the middle of both, so we know that these words does rhyme. Phonology applies to literacy development because words that are written correlate to spoken words, which means that children should have been aware of students of sounds, their letters, speech sounds, and when letters are combined to be able to spell and write. The next thing we'll be talking about is morphology. Morphology is defined as the study of how parts of words create different meanings with each other or by themselves. For example, the word chip. So let's write the word chip down. Chip. We have C-H-I-P. Chip. Now let's add an S to chip. Now we have chips. The S right here is showing possessive because it's showing that now first you had 1 chip without the S. Now you have more than 1 chip with the S. Morphology applies to literacy development because when students learn how to write and spell, it develops the relationship to be able to understand vocabulary knowledge and understand reading comprehension. The next thing we're going to talk about is syntax. Syntax is defined as the arrangement of words in sentences, clauses, and phrases, and the study of the formation of sentences and the relationship of their component parts. For example, when writing a sentence, it should follow the correct English rules, such as the sentence that says, the girl hopped with enthusiasm. Let's write that down. The girl hopped with enthusiasm. All right, the girl hopped with enthusiasm. Now, this sentence follows the English format. Subject, the subject being the girl, okay, that's the subject. And the verb is hop. So we have the subject-verb agreement going on. All right. Syntax applies to literacy development because it applies to the formation of sentences in the English, the normal grammar rule when writing sentences. The next one is semantics. Semantics is defined as the study of language, the meaning of words. For example, the 2 terms halt, we have the word halt, and we have the word stop. So let's write that down. Halt, stop. Excuse me. Both words technically mean the same thing, but children will analyze the semantics of the meaning. Semantics applies to literacy development because children need to know and understand the meaning of different words or phrases that are in the text in order to fully comprehend the sentence inside the text. Pragmatics is the next one. Pragmatics is defined as the study of language and from their users. For example, someone asks you the question, where do you go on vacation? Then you reply something like, I heard Hawaii is nice around this year. The reply is not really answering the question word for word, but it is suggesting to the reader that the individual wouldn't mind going to Hawaii for vacation. Having pragmatic literacy development applies literacy development by being able to clearly communicate of thoughts, feelings, or their ideas, which also reflect on the language development. Now, let's move on to something else. The importance of understanding these 5 components of linguistics in supporting students with exceptionalities. As a teacher, we should know and understand that every child learns differently, especially if the student or students have an exceptionality. From all the 5 components that were listed above, it all comes down to the language plays a huge role in students fully comprehending. Teachers should have some sort of word wall, manipulatives, real word connections, cooperative learning, which is the group work, and differentiated activities, computer or worksheet activities. Having these things will help support students to learn because, as I mentioned previously, every child learns differently. So giving students a different outlook will help them become successful in those linguistic components. 2 to 3 developmental appropriate research-based instructional strategies to support the language and literacy development of early childhood students who struggle with linguistic components. Number 1, read aloud. That includes those explanations of the target vocabulary which can help support students learning words. Classroom activities or storytelling. This can help students because it promotes those early onset brain development. It can develop language skills, and working with their peers can help promote networking / relationship building. Games, the roles of games have linked to many success rates for early childhood students. Playing games helps students learn with a fun way, keeps their attention, and helps them remember better. Word games are also good because it teaches them vocabulary and expands their vocabulary. Now let's do a quick review with true or false. Is it true that syntax is defined as the arrangement of words in a sentence? You should have answered true. The next one, an example of phonology is knowing and identifying words that rhyme, hats and bats. Notice that these 2 words have the same sound, and the sound is coming from the middle, which is the short A sound. You should have answered true. Our last one. Read aloud, true or false? Read aloud is not a research-based instructional strategy to support the language and literacy development of early childhood students who struggle with linguistic components. You should have answered false. Read alouds are considered to be research-based instructional strategies. This concludes the presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment on the video below. Thank you and have a good day.